Do you want to know what kills most e-commerce businesses right after they start making some actual money? These are the 5 biggest mistakes e-commerce entrepreneurs make that turns their first 10K month into their last profitable month. My name is Arjun. I'm the founder and CEO of doola.com, a business in a box for e-commerce that's raised over $13 million. And I want to share the momentum to mastery framework, which covers the 5 biggest mistakes I see e-commerce entrepreneurs make once they hit 10K. Mistake number 1 is mistaking growth for profit. Again, if your top line numbers are going up, fantastic. But how much of that are you actually taking home? Because I've seen some businesses where, yeah, maybe you're making 10K, but if your expenses are 15K with no path to reducing expenses, you don't have a business, you have a losing 5K per month. So this is where it's so important to actually have a way to track inflows, outflows, cash in, cash out, so you actually know your net profit. Mistake number 2 is failing to systemize your operations. Look, when you're starting, you have to do everything. Everything starts with one person. Maybe you have co-founders or partners. But at a certain point, if you are trying to do everything, you are going to be the bottleneck at every portion in your company. So what I'd recommend here is taking your processes and actually going through and saying, what can I record an SOP or a standard operating procedure for so that someone else can help? That could be a virtual assistant that you hire offshore, or it could be the next person that you hire full-time into your company to handle operations, whatever it might be, who then knows, because you figured out the playbooks, exactly how to do these processes. This is also a great example of actually, now that you've hit 10K, you actually have some funds to reinvest into hiring. And what you're doing then is effectively buying back your time and creating more leverage in the company so you can go out and figure out how to get even more revenue. Mistake number 3 is neglecting repeat customers, or actually just neglecting existing customers. It is so much easier to retain an existing customer versus acquiring a new customer. Acquiring a customer is really hard, but once they're in your ecosystem, oftentimes people just forget that they're there. So instead of saying, hey, can I go acquire new customers? Look at the acre of diamonds that you're sleeping on. This acre of diamonds has customers who've already paid you. So here's a tactical recommendation. Look at your existing email list. Ask yourself, when's the last time I've emailed them? And then email them and ask, hey, what other products do you want? Silly, as simple as that. You can just ask them what they want. They've already paid you, and they're likely going to want additional things. So don't neglect your existing customers. Mistake number 4 is letting your emotions dictate decisions. Founder gut is good. When you're starting, you don't have much data, so you have to use gut. But once you're actually making money, you don't need to resort to gut all the time. You can use data. So you can't fall in love with the SKU that isn't converting. You can't fall in love with the marketing website that has the lower click-through rate. You have to actually look at your data at this point. And mistake number 5 is not having a growth plan once you hit 10K. My favorite analogy for this is it's like having a ship without a rudder in the open ocean. Yeah, technically you're moving, but you could be going in circles instead of heading towards your next milestone, which I'm guessing is 100K. I don't know many people who've hit 10K and decided, I just want to stop outright. So here, you need to have a growth plan once you get to 10K. Now, I covered the 5 biggest mistakes that I've seen. I now want to go back and put this together in the momentum to mastery framework. So here are the tactical 5 steps you can follow to make sure you don't make these mistakes. The first step is financial foundations. You need to have some type of analytics and bookkeeping software in place. My company Doola can help. If you do not, you're not going to know how much cash is coming in and coming out. This is where you need to know what is actual cash flow versus profit. How much am I taking home so you know how much you can reinvest? This allows you to build a model to help you understand your current profits and future profits and understand your hiring plan going forward and how you can run the business. Step 2 of the framework is to systemize and delegate. Again, take all the processes you're doing, create SOPs, and delegate them. Do that over and over and over again. I would bet you 80% of the tasks you're doing today, if you hired a strong VA or even utilize tools with AI, you can actually outsource them. So really force yourself to go through. Ask yourself, is this a process I'm still figuring out, or is it a process that I can document and delegate? Step number 3 is optimizing for lifetime value. This is thinking, hey, how can I extend the lifetime value, meaning the customers I have? How can I extend their willingness to pay and their ability to pay versus only trying to acquire new customers? If you can do that, you have this beautiful equation where existing customers pay you more. And now you know for new customers that come in, you have a path to them paying you more as well. So do not neglect lifetime value. Seriously, just email your list. Step 4 is really using data-driven decision making. A rule you can do is for any decision you want to make, what is the data that backs this up? A really simple thing you can do is for any decision, write up your hypothesis. If we do this, then this will happen because, and the because should have some type of data pointing back to it or some type of metric you're trying to move. That'll really help you become much more data-driven versus gut gut or instinct driven. And the last step is scaling with strategy. You do not want to be a rudderless ship in the ocean. Here's the simplest way I would recommend to actually put together a strategy here. Pick the next milestone, which feels ambitious and like a stretch. It should scare you a little bit, but not be something that feels impossible. So if you're at 10K, don't put 100 million as your next milestone. That's so far out that you'll probably get dejected right away. But put 100K. That should feel scary because it's a 10x from where you are. But let's put it this way. To 10x from where you are, the easiest way to do that, ready, is just do 10 times of whatever you're doing. So let's say you have an ad channel. Can you 10x that channel to get 10x the customers coming in? Let's say your average order value is 100. Could you just 10x that? That might sound scary, but maybe there's products you could add where maybe they don't pay you that extra $900 upfront, but over the course of the next 3 years, they do. There are so many things you can do with your existing business to get to that next milestone. So again, don't pick a 100x milestone or a 1000x. I like 10x because that's kind of scary. You could even do less if you'd like. You could say 10 to 20K, but take that milestone. Now you know your numbers and just look at what inputs have to double or 10x to let the outputs double or 10x. And there you go. That's how simple the strategy can be. Then your overall goal for the year is, how do I double my ad spend? Or how do I double my average order value? Or how do I double this conversion rate from homepage to purchase page to checkout? That is a wrap. I hope these 5 mistakes were helpful. And I hope the Momentum to Mastery framework is also helpful to actually have tactical solutions that you can implement to crush 10K goals and get to 100K and beyond. If you are also scaling your e-commerce business, you probably don't have time for formation, bookkeeping, or taxes. That's why my company Doola exists. We're a business in a box for e-commerce, so you can focus on what you do best, while Doola handles the unsexy yet critical back office work required to scale your business. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found value in this video. If you have any questions about launching or leveling up your e-commerce business, please comment down below too. I drop content like this on the regular, so if you found value, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.